Okay, when did you like really start noticing that there were that many Chinese living in TJ? Because I remember we talked about that one day when we were hanging out, and then you were like, "Yeah, I agree with you."
No, it's all the Chinese restaurants they have here.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of Asian restaurants here, and then you actually see some Chinese working in them. But after talking to some other people I know, they actually told me that a lot of businesses here are owned by the Chinese. So I was impressed by that, and I was like, that kind of makes sense too. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, with everything. So, because I mean, it's they have good food here.
Yeah. You said 50%.
Yeah, someone
Wow.
said like 50% of Tijuana is owned by the Chinese. I was like, wow, because the Mexican government, they don't care. They want the extra businesses here. It's more
Yeah.
money, you know, more money coming in.
It makes sense. It makes sense for a lot of Chinese to be in Mexico, especially near the border,
Yeah.
because you get that advantage. You get as we were talking about before, you get the lower rent, cheaper cost of living overall. And as we were talking, as I was talking to Sam about, the gas is also cheaper
Oh, yeah.
in Mexico. So at a certain point, the quality of life is going to be better in the sense of cost of living, because you can get a lot of business from the United States because you're in the border.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the same time, your rent is cheaper, gas is cheaper, everything. Your living expenses in general are cheaper. Food, groceries.
Mm-hmm.
Groceries, I'm not 100% sure of. Groceries, I don't know for sure. But
Yeah, I think so. I can't
Depends.
remember. I think it depends on what you're buying.
Okay, yeah, but overall, like I see the advantage of Chinese living in TJ, especially. I don't know for sure. Do they typically bring? Do they typically have a lot of money like saved over in China before they come over here? I don't know either. I wish I knew like more of that. I mean, you know, we know some people that might be able to tell us. They probably have the information on that, but yeah, it's just a great dynamic, even for Americans living in TJ. In that sense, when you can go back to the U.S. or when you're right beside the U.S. and then you have all these expenses that are much lower, and then even starting a business for an American out here, I can see that. It works out. There are a lot of Americans who have businesses out here.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised, and I don't know how that works, but it'd be interesting to know though.
Yeah, as long as you have the money to invest, and then you don't have
money talks pretty much.
Exactly, and you don't have to spend that much. You don't have to invest that much. You know, you probably have to have a lot more cash up front, because getting things like credit or taking out loans, you know, I don't think you can really do that out here as an American. I don't know. I could be wrong. Well, you can take out a loan in the United States and then take that money and maybe just use it here.
Possible.
So yeah, but no, I think if there are that many Chinese already, they're just going to be more in the future, because word of mouth gets around, and if people are saying, well, hey, you know, I like it over here, or things are going good for me over here, then, you know, more people are just going to come. I was in Spain and I talked to a girl from Spain about how, okay, you know where the real money is in the Spanish speaking world? I believe the real money is with the Spanish speakers that live in the United States, because they have high incomes. They have a lot of spending power. So that is like where big business is for the Spanish speaking world, for the Hispanic world. And then she mentioned that she knows a lot of people back from Spain who are in Mexico and doing very well. And to leave Spain to go to Mexico, I can picture that, especially if you're in the areas of Mexico where there's a lot of money coming in from the United States.
Oh yeah.
That's
border towns.
Yeah, border towns. So that's where there's a big advantage. And as I was talking to her, and she and I were talking, and she mentioned that things in Spain are rough. Cost of living is definitely not as low as in Mexico. The wages are higher in Spain, but
cost of living
pretty much matches the higher wages in Spain. They typically do make more, but I feel like the people who have businesses, I think it's business. I think it's really like having your own business. I think the ones who leave and then go to Mexico and start their own business and kind of push the business towards the people who have money from the United States or the people who in the border cities, I think that's where they can find better opportunities. And then even if you're not necessarily in a border town, I mean, no matter where you are in Mexico, could you imagine how much money is coming from the United States? You have people back in the United States sending money to all over the country. People who have family in other parts of Mexico, like in Sinaloa, in Guadalajara.
I have a friend from Acapulco in North Carolina.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I'm sure he sends money to his family every once in a while.
Exactly, and that's why Mexico has so much. Yeah, there's a lot of business. There's a lot of good business to do in Mexico, and plus, like I said, you know, with the lower expenses, yeah, I feel like Mexico is really a great place to do business. Along with that, actually, we just talked about off camera that people back in China, people who have factories, they will save money sending their products to Mexico first, and then from Mexico, they'll send it to the U.S. So because of the North American
free trade agreement,
the North American Free Trade Agreement.
Yeah.
So that also pushes the agenda even further to have more Chinese in Mexico, because now this business of sending stuff to Mexico and then saving money on tariffs, then sending the product to the U.S. afterwards. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. In one of the last jobs I had in San Diego, they were talking about how there was a bidding war between, might have been between Chinese and Americans for a factory in TJ. And if I'm not mistaken, the Chinese they pay about $5 million to have a factory in Mexico. And I think the reason they did that was because in the end they're going to save so much more money, also rather than having it in the U.S., which would just be ridiculous. Do you imagine $5 million that this company in China paid to have the factory in Mexico? In the United States, that would easily be what, 15, 20?
Oh, easy.
So,
easy.
And then along with the whole free trade agreement, it makes even more sense to do that.
Definitely.
So yeah, even the Chinese back in China who have this amazing wealth and these businesses back in China, they also take advantage of this as well. So it's not only these people who come and start restaurants, it's these people back in China who have huge, like multi-million-dollar businesses. They benefit from Mexico as well. So that's they're gonna be way more.
Yeah.
They're gonna be even more from what I'm thinking. Hey guys,
Subscribe
please give us a like
and subscribe.